You said you're gonna go vote after we're done here?
Yep, I'm going to vote right after today. I should have probably done early voting, but it's been so busy. So yeah, no.
You are okay. I forget you're over on that side of town. Do you have like have you early voted in the past?
Yeah, I've gone to the current FSCJ used to be like they used to be the mall, whatever, the
Yeah.
FSCJ on South Side before, but
Oh, that
now
sounds like a nice
today,
polling station, honestly.
it was just a hallway, so I don't think it was anything special. But
But
I
I
don't know
mean,
what
like
this one's
for
gonna be.
parking reasons, I guess.
Oh yeah, it was empty. It was like no one there, so I'm like whatever, in and out. But this one, I'm going to a hotel, so we'll see.
Lisa and I went early. We went to the supervisor of elections downtown, and we just street parked, which was easy. But they have run a well-oiled machine. I went in. They have the computer monitors there, like I'm pretty sure I had for the last big election. So I got to input them on the computer instead of bubbling them in, which is kind of fun. And then you just insert the paper, and voila, I got my. Oh, can't really see it, but right there, that's my voted in the presidential election sticker on my wall. So
Nice.
I guess that's a good way to start. At this point, the voting process is over. We hoped everyone went out and voted. And we're going to go ahead and get this episode started. This is Dimes on Duval, episode 118, presented by Nerdy Nuts. He's Mike Yashi, I'm Keith Manzi. We are going to just jump right in. You cool with that? I don't think there's anything else to talk about that we can't just start talking, right?
Yep, I'm good with it. I mean, we already agreed pre-show. We're not talking about the Knowles. Knowles suck. It's the same story over and over. We're done.
Yes, we are skipping the Knowles. Do not expect any Knowles talk. I'm sorry if you were only listening just to listen to the Knowles. It's not going to happen. Man, I'm not looking forward to that Notre Dame game. So let's go ahead and talk some Florida, Georgia, or Georgia, Florida, depending on where you are from. Georgia picks up the win 34-20. Mike, did I not call it? I said it was going to be a slow start for Georgia. Florida hung around, and they might have actually done more than that if DJ Lagway doesn't go down with a hamstring injury and they pull away in the fourth quarter and win.
So I said last week that Georgia was gonna blow them out.
Mhm.
I was clearly off because it was a close game for a lot of the game. I think Georgia played, and I'm gonna say it, I hate to say it, but I think they played with their food. They played down to their competition.
Wait, didn't I say that last week
You
too?
did say that too. You've been on a roll with this Georgia, Florida, with the Florida talk, I will say. Be- But I think Georgia played worse than I thought they would, and I thought Florida played better than I thought they would. DJ Lagway sucks that he got hurt. I hope he's okay for this rest of the season. I know Billy Napier said this week that he might give it a go against Texas. If I'm him, I would not play against Texas. Save it for the LSU game. Save it for Ole Miss potentially. Definitely don't need it against Florida State. But like you need to save it for those two other games to possibly go bowling. So
Yeah.
I think Carson Beck is below average, and I'm not sure what he was doing in some of those games, but or of the some of the game on Saturday evening. But yikes, he looks bad.
It's funny you say that because that was going to be my exact thing. I was going to say exactly. I don't think Carson Beck is very good. He gets so emotionally into stuff. I don't even know how to put it. He just gets so into his own head. That's what I'm trying to say. Into his own head that he can't perform under the brightest stages. Granted, they always find a way to win because Georgia has the best players. Carson Beck threw three interceptions in this game. Hats off to the Florida defense. They played really well. But Carson Beck looked brutally bad. He's got 11 interceptions on the year. That's more than I think he's had ever. And his draft stock is completely plummeting. So I don't know. I'm not a Carson Beck believer. I don't think he has. If you can't get out of your own head, you're not going to be an NFL quarterback in my mind.
So he definitely I don't know. I think he might be hurt. I don't know. He did not look that good. Like we said, he's forcing. I think he's trying to force things and just they're just not there. Also, kind of may tie to the fact that Georgia doesn't have any playmakers. Honestly, I will say they don't really have any offensive threats. They don't have a Lad McConkey. They don't have a Brock Bowers anymore. Like they don't have these guys that can stretch the field. Um, I think Florida played really well. Their defense balled out as hard as they could. They kept them in game. They kept them in the game. It just the offense kind of struggled. And the play action call that I'm sorry, I don't know if it was a play action call, but the play call after one of Carson Beck's picks in the first half was a thing of beauty. I will
Hmm.
say Napier can draw up some plays. The deep bomb too. I can't remember who was the receiver for the Gators. It was a
Oh,
beautiful play call.
Aiden Mizell or
Aiden
whatever.
Mizell, a
Yeah.
46 yarder, 47 yarder, or whatever. It was near midfield, but that was a beautiful play call, and that was impressive. I do think Florida, like I said, played better than I expected. So that's my thoughts on it. They played better than
Well,
I think a lot of people thought, and I was wrong with I my analysis or pregame analysis of the game.
you look at Florida and they're without QB1, QB2, and Graham Mertz and DJ Lagway. Montrell Johnson's out. Eugene Wilson's out. Their starting best defensive player and Jason Marshall Jr. was out. Devin Moore and Dijon Mustard Johnson all go out in the game. These guys are all out at the point where it is 20-20 in this ball game. And what has been Florida's biggest Achilles heel this entire season besides coaching? Special teams. They make a special teams error, and that's the game. Georgia pulls away after that because Georgia plays with their food a lot, but when you make a mistake, they're going to capitalize, and that's exactly what they did. Florida had no answer after that. Uh,
Yeah, that bad snap was
that was bad,
horrible, and
and they showed him
that
multiple
literally
times, man.
that changed the game. Like
Hmm.
I told my in-laws they were in town for the weekend, and I told my brother-in-law, I'm like, this is a game that that play is about to change the whole momentum of the game, and it did, unfortunately for the Gators.
It did, it did. I do tip my cap to Aiden Warner, though. Not great statistically if you just look at the box score. Does not have an impressive day, but coming in that situation is always going to be really tough. He stood his ground a lot. Made some really. He throws really hard. He just doesn't throw very far. I remember a couple times scrambling out of the pocket. He just tried to chuck it as far as he could. It went like 20 yards down the field out of bounds, which I know throwing on the run is hard, but did you know that he was a Yale transfer? They only mentioned that 46 times on the broadcast.
Yep. I that was getting annoying. I'm like, okay, we get it. He's from Yale. Enough. Like,
Even Napier said it too, and I think he was probably poking fun at it, but like,
well, Napier, I think is just trying to like give the kid some credit. Maybe I don't know, like never seeing D1 ball before, playing against Georgia, like going from Yale. That's when maybe the emotions or like the lack of experience against a real team may have got like try to explain that aspect of things. But my God, I'm so ready to turn off Herbstreit and Fowler. I was done.
well, the kid is a Floridian. He's from Winter Park, so Napier did follow it up with that. So it's like, he goes up the L, he comes back home to Florida and stuff like that. So they were actually really pushing the Jacksonville agenda with, of course, Carson Beck in that game. But it was kind of cool to hear a lot of the Jacksonville shout outs. But yeah, Herbstreit and them, they get old after a while. So Florida has a question mark, Mike says, with DJ Lagway. Has not been ruled out for the game against number 5 Texas. They are saying the hamstring injury is, quote, less significant than initially feared. So that's good for him. But I think I side with you, Mike. I don't think they should play him. Let him fully heal it so he can be 100% against LSU and Ole Miss because they're 2 wins away from a bowl game. And you get an automatic dub against Florida State. I think they're going to do everything they can to make a bowl so that Napier can save his job. And
I mean, it could be an attempt to save his job, but will it? I
oh
don't
yeah,
know.
I'm no guarantee, but making a bowl game is a lot. It doesn't make it a lot harder to fire him. He needs to be fired. There's a lot of other things. So many coaching miscues this season, but for his sake, if he wants to get another job, be like, look, I lost two quarterbacks basically. I'm still looking to coach. I still made a bowl game though, that kind of thing. So Florida, yes, 4-4 overall, 2-3 in the conference. The SEC no longer has an undefeated team in conference play as Texas A&M falls, so that puts Georgia on top of the conference. Your one-loss teams are Georgia, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Texas, and LSU. Going to be interesting to see how that SEC championship show goes down. But I want to just go back real quick to talk about Georgia, Mike. And I talked about Carson Beck. I think Ole Miss beats them this coming week. It's at Ole Miss. That's going to be 3:30 on ABC for those of you that aren't sure. I think Ole Miss somehow, some way, does some ridiculous crap and ends up winning the game. And you're looking at a two-loss Georgia team.
I think you might be on your own on that one.
Hey man, I gotta make a bold prediction every once in a while.
I just don't think Ole Miss is that good. Like, here are their wins. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Furman, Middle Tennessee State,
Great
Wake
team.
Forest,
Oh yeah.
Georgia Southern, South Carolina, which ended up beating A&M. Great, good game for them, but average team in the SEC. Oklahoma, who stinks this year. Arkansas, who also is subpar. They're
Okay.
big
Well, never
games that
mind
they've
then.
lost. They've lost to LSU and they lost to Kentucky.
Were they at home or
Kentucky.
away?
Kentucky was at home and LSU was on the road.
Oh man, that doesn't sound so good now. All right.
So,
So Georgia's
like,
gonna lose to Tennessee. I'm just kidding.
I just don't see Ole Miss. I don't think they're that good of a team.
No,
Now,
when
this
when
is
you
big
actually
for
pull
Ole.
that up, yeah, that makes sense.
Now, I will say this: if Ole Miss does beat Georgia, that is big because that just opened up the whole SEC race. Because right now, Texas A&M will be playing Texas end of the year. Georgia doesn't really have, and they have Ole Miss and Tennessee next 2 weeks.
And that's it, yeah.
That's basically it for
Yeah.
obviously for conference championship reasons. So, and then Texas still has, like I said, Texas A&M, and I think they have, yeah, they got Arkansas, Kentucky, and Florida. And LSU, who also has one loss, has Bama this weekend. That's a big game. And they got
Yeah.
Florida and Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. So I think this game, Georgia Ole Miss, is a big one, but I just don't see Georgia losing to Ole Miss. I just don't. I don't think Ole Miss is a good team.
That's
So I
fair.
hope.
That's
I
fair.
mean, you've been right on so far with the SEC. Like you've been predicting. I don't think it's close. I've been wrong, but I just don't see Georgia losing to Ole Miss. I think Kirby's got to get them right, and they still got championship goals. They got championship aspirations. And even if Georgia loses this game, they still are going to be in playoff contention. Ole Miss, though, they lose, they're out.
Did we just become an SEC podcast?
No, honestly, maybe because the ACC is dog water.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, speaking of dog water, let's go ahead and start talking about our wonderful 2-7, 0-5 on the road Jacksonville Jaguars. So,
Well, before we go to the
oh,
Jaguars,
oh.
do we think Florida has any chance of beating Texas on the road? The current spread is 21 and a half.
If Texas plays the way they did, their offense plays the way they did against Georgia, I do think they have a chance.
See, I don't know. It depends on this Lagway injury. If Lagway's out, I don't know if you can put a
Okay, well,
walk on.
I'm saying this presuming, excuse me, that Lagway is healthy. I'm not thinking. Sorry, Aiden. I'm not thinking you're going in marching in there and beating
And
Texas.
now, if a walk on goes into Texas and wins in Austin, that would be one of the greatest stories of college football. But I don't think it happens.
Yeah, no.
But before we move on from Florida, Skylar texted us an update. He's not on the podcast today. He's busy and it's his dad's birthday. But um, he wanted to give us some thoughts on Florida and Georgia. He did say that he's pleased with how they stayed competitive, kind of what Keith touched on. And he said they should have maybe relied on the run game more after Lagway's injury. But he does believe that it will be tough for Florida to get bowl eligibility, which we kind of already touched on. But we'll see. They've got 4 games left. Maybe they'll pull a win out of it, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. for the team, the home team here, Jacksonville Jaguars, pulling out a win might be the impossible challenge as we head to the back half of the season here. 2-7. The Jaguars do what they do best, Mike. They forget how to play football in the first half. They have some crazy, stupid thing happen in the second half, and we get back into the game, and we lose in a fashion that breaks all of our hearts. Uh, I did not watch this entire game. I was out to dinner, getting some good news and sharing some good news as well. And I didn't get to see the entire thing. Mike, did you get to watch the whole game?
Missed the first drive or two, but yeah.
So you didn't miss anything,
Well,
right? Because it was
nah,
pretty sure the first half was punt, 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 interception, turnover on
I
downs,
did
or end of
see, I
half or
did miss the
something.
first drive where Eagles scored a touchdown, but other than that, yeah, I saw the whole game, unfortunately.
Well, we know
Can
that
I?
they lost. We know what happened in the game. You all know, the listeners know what happened in that game. Let's just go ahead. I'm just going to start with the good. Trayvon Walker.
Okay, we kind of got bailed out. That's like okay, that fumble return for a touchdown is just a small makeup for the Miles Jack wasn't down. And lovely how they don't let call that one dead, but they let the oh my God, that I'm still pissed about 2017, as you can tell. Because
Agreed.
oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I'm with you, but I
Mm.
mean, we have nothing to celebrate, Mike, and I'm going to celebrate Trayvon. Other than that play, I mean, that was
We
an
got
awesome play. Happy we
we
got
got
the
lucky
call.
there, by the way. We got lucky because
He is tied for
jeez.
tied for sixth in the league in defensive stops, tied for eighth in the league in run stops, and tied for fifth in the league in run stop win percentage. So he's not perfect. He's not playing bad, I'd say. At least I'm saying his name. I mean,
No, Trayvon has been a very good player this year. There's no debate about it in my mind. He's been our defensive MVP, I think. Safe to say. Him and Ventrell Miller.
yeah. Yeah, with Foye going down, I mean, it's not like he does any highlight reel stuff anyway. And the whole D line stinks, and the D backs are even worse. Let me touch on the worst defensive back in the league, Mike Yashi. That is going to be Ronald Darby. He had 6 targets, 5 receptions allowed, 98 yards allowed, giving up a touchdown, 158.3 passer rating allowed, and he has allowed the most yards out of any corner in the NFL with 500. I love my Florida State boys, but
Yikes.
yeah, Darby is dookie. I'm trying to think of anything else of significance. Oh, okay, here's one. Here's one. To the people that still sit here and say that everything is Trevor Lawrence's fault, can you all just go like, I don't know, walk
Kick
off a short
rocks.
pier?
Kick rocks.
Yeah, kick rocks. There we go. That's a nice way to put it. The defense did all they could. You know what? They only gave up 28 points. I'm actually amazed that we scored 23, even though it wasn't all of our offense. Yes, if you look at just the stats of this game, Trevor Lawrence had 0 TDs and 2 interceptions. He was sacked twice and didn't throw for under over 200 yards again. Trevor Lawrence is not the problem with this offense. He's without his top 2 receivers. He is well, he's not injured anymore, so I can't say that. Your leading rusher has less than 30 yards on the ground, and the only offensive success is when you go hurry up and he calls the plays himself. That's the only time we saw success. He was calling his own plays because we all know Press Taylor and our coach's schemes is just diarrhea. And of course, we lead the league in drops in the last multiple 2, 3 years. So to Mike Greenberg, to Bill Simmons, F you guys, man. You guys obviously don't watch the Jags, so you're just gonna sit there and say, why is Trevor Lawrence so bad? This isn't on him. There's a lot he can improve on. Like he did miss a wide open Brian Thomas Jr. towards the end of that game, but few quarterback miscues compared to everything else that has just been a dumpster fire. Get out of town, man. I'm over that crap, and I'm hoping you're in the same corner as me, Mike.
Oh yeah, this loss is on the defense and also the offensive play calling. We had 36 yards, 37 yards, 38 yards, whatever it was in the first half. One first down. Are you kidding me? We, as people who listen to Dimes on Duval, could do better than that. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Oh
38
yeah.
yards and a half is atrocious. We are lucky as, and Skylar mentioned this in a text too. We are lucky to get even close to winning that game. Like,
Mhm.
he said it's shocking. I'm saying lucky. Like, we are lucky as hell to be even in the position to win the game. I
Brian
don't
Thomas,
under. I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say Skylar said this, and I kind of agree. I don't understand a pass play during the interception on the last play of the game for the offense. I don't mind a pass play, but why are you running a fade route or a wheel route to the corner of the end zone with your third string running back?
It wasn't a bad throw.
It could have been a better throw.
It could have been a little better, but N'Kobe Dean made an incredible play on that ball. You were not expecting a guy like that to go out there and make that kind of catch. But I agree in the sense that we should not be throwing that ball to our third string running back. It's silly to me. And that just goes back to what you just said, offensive play calling. That's what lost us this game. I'm not going to blame the defense as much. The defense is not great, but I don't think you can put all of the blame on them because they were on the field a lot. Like a lot, a lot. Granted, when they were on the field, you're still sitting there with, let's see, oh, we got 3 sacks. Okay, never mind. Hines Allen had 2 sacks and Jordan Jefferson with one. Huh. Okay, but it's just the same shit, different week.
It
And
literally is. Like we're allowing 25 plus points a game. We
yep.
are putting up 20 plus. We're never going to be able to come back and win. Like we are not putting up enough points. The defense is atrocious. And guess who's coming to town? Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson are they're going to torch this team. Like I am so tired of this. It's going to be another long week, another BS, and I cannot wait. 2 more weeks, my guy. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
And what Mike is alluding to is the bye week in 2 weeks, where we fire Doug Peterson once and for all, and we start targeting.
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, all right. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
But no, if they don't fire Doug Peterson after the bye week, then I'm convinced he's not doing it until the end of the year. So,
I
like,
mean, we were ready to fire him after the Patriots game, but
I was ready to fire him after the Bills game.
yeah, 0 and
So like
3.
this team stinks. Ryan Nielsen is garbage. We should have we I mean Doug Peterson was never gonna let go of Press Taylor. He got rid of the wrong staff and it turned out to be all fans were took an L on that one because we wanted Mike Caldwell fired, but it worked out, and now we're Jaguars are sitting here at 2-7 and a dumpster fire. And currently, if the season ended today, we would have the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft. We are currently in draft talk, so I think starting next week, or you know what, I'm gonna start this week. At the end of the podcast, I'm gonna start giving
Yeah, I'll start
names
writing
to
them
look out
down.
for in terms of draft talk because
You
we are in
know,
draft talk. It's draft season. I'm done. This
do
team
I
is
have those?
garbage.
I know I have those too. I want to keep talking. I want to see if I can find the list of your last ones.
Like, I just don't know. Like, there's so many needs on this team, and you're not gonna be able to do it in one draft. I know that. And we didn't make a trade in a trade deadline. Oh, we need to talk. Actually, we made one trade last week after we recorded a podcast.
We've made two.
Who was the second one?
Roy Robertson Harris.
And that was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. We already knew about that before. But I'm talking about this week, in the past week. We traded
Yeah,
Cam Robinson to, ironically, the Vikings, who's coming to town this week. So,
revenge game.
yeah, so Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker are not going to get a sack, is what I'm calling right now. But yeah, no, Jags didn't make a move, did not move ETN, did not move. Um, Chad Muma, Devin Lloyd, any of these guys because clearly no one wants them.
You
So
want to
maybe
hear the moves right here? I have them right here. It involves the practice squad. We signed O-line Dennis Daly and long snapper Peter Bowden to the practice squad. We released linebacker Tanner Muse and running back Jake Funk. Dang it, from the practice squad. My guy, Jake Funk. Dang it. And we released Tayshawn Gibson and placed Cooper Hodges on IR.
I hope the snoring came through on the mic because I literally was snoring because that
Do
does
it
not.
again. Do it again. No, it doesn't. It's weird.
Oh,
It like
damn it.
mutes it.
Okay. Interesting. Anyways,
Well, insert Mike snoring here.
whatever. Yeah, Jags currently have the number two pick behind the New England Patriots and ahead of New Orleans and Carolina, who New Orleans just fired their head coach. So it'll be interesting to see where we finish. I don't believe the Jags have a shot at the playoffs. I don't care what anyone says. So
Yeah, no, sir. No, sir.
yeah, I think we're going to be guaranteed a top five pick because New England, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Carolina, Cleveland, Vegas, and the Giants are at 2-7, and Miami and the Jets are at I'm sorry, Miami and Tennessee are at 2-6. It's really funny because Miami is 2-6, and we're one of their two wins. Cleveland's 2-7, we're one of their two wins. Who else? New England.
New
Well, we're one
England.
of their two wins.
We've
Or
won.
they're one of our two wins. So, I mean, the
We
Jags
all
do have
stink.
a easier schedule to end the year. They do play the Raiders. They do play the Titans twice. They do play the Jets. So maybe they make a little run, but
We play the Raiders.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. We play the Raiders,
We did.
the
Okay.
Titans twice, and the Jets to end the season. So maybe we'll get a few wins out of it, but I don't see this team winning 6, 7 games max. So
Nope, me neither. Um, I'm just, I'm over it, dog. And I know we say it every week. It's tough being a Jags fan. It's tough being a Florida State fan and a Jags fan. And it's just, and we're Magic fans too. And Paolo Banchero gets hurt. It's just a mess.
I was listening to last week's episode today, and it was right after Paolo had a 50-point game. And I guess the same night or the night late next night, it broke that Paolo hurt his oblique or whatever. He's out
Mhm.
for a month or 2 months. And I'm like, lovely. So
Yeah,
it's not fun
really,
for us at all this
really,
year.
really killed the vibes. I know. I told someone the other day, I was like, hey, can you just like either Men in Black like flash me and so I forget everything, or can you just like put me in a coma till like
Bro, this is why I need someone to invent time travel. Just so I can move past, just get me to December, get past this football season, and then Paolo will be back. Or end of December, January,
hopefully,
whatever.
hopefully.
Whatever.
Whew. It's just plot me on like December 23rd, you know? That'd be cool. That way I can
Yeah, you
celebrate
got,
Christmas.
yeah. But Skylar did want to mention that he does think that they maybe that he feels that they do beat Minnesota but he also can see Justin Jefferson torching our secondary. So
He
yeah, I don't know
thinks we
where he's
can
think.
beat.
That's what he said. He feels maybe they do beat Minnesota, but he can also see Justin Jefferson torching our secondary. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and lock this in. Minnesota does beat the Jags, and it's not gonna be close. I think they cover. I think they're a better team, and 1 week closer to Doug's inevitable firing, and hopefully Trent Baalke's inevitable firing as well.
I'm looking here. Aaron Jones is the starting running back for the Vikings. This season, his highest rushing total was 102 yards against the Texans.
Over.
He will rush for over 103 yards in this game. The Jaguars' run defense might be the worst in the league. Granted, Saquon Barkley is very good, but then the week before, you let the Packers run all over you, who aren't a
Oh
very
my God, can we just backtrack to that? That was an insane play by Saquon Barkley. I'm not
Oh yeah.
even mad because it was actually hysterical that it happened to our team. Now we have we can add that run, the hurdle. Yes, he got a few extra yards, the backwards hurdle. Add it to the Derrick Henry collection, or Derrick Henry play was stiff arming our team for 99 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
Just add it to that because we are a meme as usual.
I think someone actually already did. They added that one. Those two plays. They did the
Devontae Smith
Laviska
catch.
Shenault running into it or slipping and falling and tripping the our other receiver, and Blake Bortles' foot interception.
I did see that tweet yesterday. That was
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
Yes.
That's just the state of our wonderful franchise. The joke of everyone. God, this sucks.
You know, this is the first, I'm gonna say this because it's actually kind of funny. This is the first, obviously, football season I've had like with my wife here, like Julia. And I guess someone reached out to her, like whatever, last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. So how's living with Mike during football season? She literally says, there's a lot of cussing and swearing. I'm like, yeah, well, that's literally it. So, yeah. So,
Yeah, sorry, honey. It's that kind of season, man. This Jacksonville Jaguars team will do that to you. But hey, you know what? Yes, Paolo's out, but at least we have basketball we can focus on. I know you don't watch hockey, but I can watch a little hockey. College basketball is back. Shout out to UNF for upsetting South Carolina last night. First win against a Power Five team since Illinois back in, shoot, I don't remember when exactly, but good on them. Our loyal listener slash brother of mine, Scott, went back behind the mic for Jacksonville University as they defeated Trinity Baptist last night, so that was cool. So at least we'll have some college basketball to maybe fill the void. I don't know. Florida State looked really good against NKU, but and
Florida State.
Florida played here against
Yeah, I did see that Florida played
USF.
here. I did see that. Florida State ain't doing anything in the ACC. I can tell you that right now. They stink.
Oh no, no, but I mean it's it's good to see a win to start the season. I know it's NKU, but still. Uh yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know,
How
but
was your
just
Halloween, Mike?
I'm not doing this. We're
I'm
not.
just
No,
kidding.
no, we're not
Well, let's
doing
end
this.
with our ad read, all right? Unless you got anything else Jags related to talk about.
Nope. But I'm gonna pull up a name for the end of the podcast.
You
So
do that. So instead of my normal Nerdy Nuts ad read where I tell you all of the flavors that are coming out this Sunday, I'd like to talk to you about the Advent calendar that they have released. It is in pre-sale right now and will start shipping on November 21st, between November 21st and November 27th. These Advent calendars will include 25 individually wrapped peanut butter cups. So you can celebrate your holiday countdown with 25 Nerdy Nuts peanut butter cups. With 12 days of different flavors and one exclusive flavor for the 25th, every day is worth celebrating. So there's a bunch of different kinds, including their most popular monster cookie, birthday cake, and cinnamon roll, but they also have some other unique ones like banana bread or caramel, which sounds really good, and chocolate peppermint. You can order these now for $50 on their website, but you can use our promo code DIMES10 to get 10% off that purchase. And then you can celebrate the holidays with delicious peanut butter treats. I think that's going to do it for our episode of Dimes on Duval, presented by Nerdy Nuts. He's Mike Yajni. I'm Keith Manzi signing off. We will catch you next time, hopefully with some more positive things to talk about.
let's be real. That's not happening. Here's my name for draft season. Cornerback Will Johnson out of Michigan.
Writing it down.
There we go.